Sagittarius, let me start with a simple picture. Imagine you are lounging at home, maybe scrolling through your phone or sipping that coffee you promised yourself would be the last cup of the day, when suddenly the phone rings and the caller ID shows a name you never expected. Your stomach flips, your heart does that strange dance, and for a split second you know something is about to change. That is the exact vibration in the air around September 22nd, 2025. But let's be clear, this is not about waiting for your ex to text you back or hoping the Amazon guy finally shows up with the package marked 2-day shipping that mysteriously took 5. This call is not coming through Verizon or T-Mobile, it is coming from the universe itself, and it is not leaving a voicemail. For Sagittarius, who is notorious for being allergic to hesitation, this is not a gentle suggestion, it is a cosmic shout, pick up now, or risk missing the moment your destiny starts to sing. You stand at a crossroad, and history has shown us that Sagittarians rarely stay put staring at the map. You leap, you gallop, you crash through detours with that fiery bow and arrow aimed toward the horizon. And yes, sometimes you leap before checking if the bridge is even built, but that's the beauty of your spirit, you trust that wings will appear midair. This cosmic call is not asking you to be someone you are not, it is demanding that you become more of who you already are, bold, curious, unapologetically authentic. The Buddhists would say this is the moment of right action, where you release clinging and step into alignment. From a psychological angle, it is that moment when your intuition and your courage finally shake hands. And from a novelist's perspective, it is the dramatic turning point where the hero, tired of wandering, finally recognizes the plot twist is really an invitation. So laugh if you must, roll your eyes at destiny if that's your style, but do not ignore the ringing in your soul. This is the chapter you have been waiting to write. The energy surrounding September 22nd, 2025 is not something you simply walk past on your way to the grocery store. It is the kind of atmosphere that makes you stop mid-step and wonder why your skin is tingling, why your thoughts feel scattered, and why you sense that something invisible is nudging you forward. It feels like lightning buzzing through the bloodstream, and no, before you blame the 3 cups of coffee you swore you'd cut back on, I'll tell you now, this isn't caffeine, it's alignment. When the cosmos wants your attention, it doesn't whisper, it rattles your bones. Some of you may already be pacing without knowing why, restless as though your spirit is tuned to a frequency you can't quite translate yet. That's because the universe is humming your name, Sagittarius, and you are being invited to pick up the call. This isn't just another Monday wrapped in glittery astrology memes. The astrological chart of this day shows a convergence, a kind of energetic crossroad that doesn't happen every week or even every year. It's the sort of alignment that points at you and says, chosen ones, your time is here. Now, I don't use that phrase lightly, and neither should you. Throughout history, across every generation, there are souls pushed harder by destiny, souls who feel the pressure to rise when others feel only a passing breeze. Sagittarius, with your wild hunger for truth, your appetite for expansion, your refusal to accept cages no matter how gilded, you are on that short list. If the universe were casting a play, you wouldn't be called in as an understudy. You'd be the lead, the one expected to walk onto the stage and improvise with brilliance. The call that vibrates through your life right now could wear many masks. It might arrive as a professional opportunity that feels both terrifying and exhilarating, like being asked to captain a ship when you've barely mastered rowing. It could be a deep stirring in your heart, a romantic connection that reorganizes the furniture of your soul. Or it could come as a more subtle shift, an awakening that reminds you who you really are when the world's noise falls silent. But in every case, the essence is the same. You are being asked to show up as your authentic self. No costumes, no masks, no polite nods to other people's expectations. Imagine it as an audition where the only role is you. And the best part? You already know the lines. That brings us to the first card shining in this story, the Ace of Pentacles. If tarot were cinema, this would be that scene where a mysterious benefactor hands the hero a golden key. No long monologue, no confusing instructions, just a key that glows with potential. For you, Sagittarius, that key looks like opportunity in the material world, a job offer, a financial breakthrough, or the long-awaited solution to the frustration that's been hanging around your bank account like an unwelcome house guest. But before you start celebrating as if the lottery has already been won, let's remember something essential. The Ace of Pentacles is not the harvest, it's the seed. And seeds, no matter how golden or magical, are useless if you keep them in your pocket. They have to be planted, watered, and nurtured with patience and faith. This is where many Sagittarians get tripped up. You are fueled by fire, and fire wants immediate results. But soil doesn't care how impatient you are. It requires time. It requires you to trust that something invisible is happening beneath the surface even when nothing seems to be sprouting above it. From a psychological perspective, this card marks a shift from scarcity thinking to creative possibility. Here's the truth. Many Sagittarians walk through life convinced that freedom and stability cannot coexist, that choosing one means betraying the other. To you, abundance has sometimes looked like a cage, and stability like a ball and chain. But the universe is gently, almost humorously, challenging that old story. Why not both? Why not a freedom that is supported by abundance instead of hindered by it? Why not stability that feels like a foundation rather than a prison? Abundance doesn't have to weigh you down. It can be the wind that lifts your adventurous wings higher. Think of it this way, if freedom is the bow, then stability is the string. Alone, each has its limits. Together, they give the arrow power, direction, and force. The Ace of Pentacles is that string being handed to you. Without it, your fire and your freedom may burn brightly but scatter aimlessly. With it, you have the chance to direct your energy into something that lasts, something that nourishes, something that finally allows you to see that freedom isn't about constant escape, it's about the strength to stay rooted while still flying. So today, if you feel restless, don't panic. That jitter isn't weakness, it's a signal. Your spirit is aligning with something larger, a script written in the stars but waiting for you to breathe life into it. Don't expect the universe to hand you the entire orchard. It has placed a golden seed in your palm. The rest is up to you, your courage, your patience, and your willingness to trust the process. Sagittarius, you've always been good at chasing horizons. Now it's time to plant something worth coming home to. Sagittarius, let us pause for a moment and appreciate what it feels like to finally step out of the shadows and into the light of recognition. The Sun card has entered your spread, and this isn't the dim glow of a desk lamp, it's the full-on, sunglasses required, I told you so radiance of cosmic validation. Now, I can already hear some of you laughing, of course I'm shining. I'm a Sagittarius. Sunshine is my default setting. True enough, but this card carries a deeper truth. It isn't just about happiness or joy, it's about visibility. It's about the curtain finally rising after years of rehearsal and you realizing that the audience has been waiting for you all along. For far too long, many Sagittarians have been grinding quietly behind the scenes, working diligently, cracking your witty one-liners in rooms where only a handful of people were listening. The Sun says that moment is over. The spotlight is moving toward you, your talents are being noticed, and even those infamous Sagittarian puns, the ones people pretended to groan at, will suddenly be appreciated for the gems of humor they are. Yet, before you start basking endlessly in applause, here's a gentle reminder from psychology and life experience: when the sun shines brightest, it also casts shadows. Visibility can attract admiration, yes, but it also tends to awaken envy in those who haven't yet learned to kindle their own fire. You may notice people whispering, questioning, or even throwing a bit of shade your way. Don't mistake this for failure. As moths prove when they flock to the flame, brightness confirms itself by the attention it draws. Let that envy be your silent compliment. Do not shrink, dim, or step back to make others comfortable. Sagittarians were never meant to blend in like wallpaper. You are the torchbearers, the bonfires, the cosmic fireworks that remind people what it means to live unapologetically. And just as the sun illuminates the stage of your life, another card steps forward, and the plot thickens beautifully, the Two of Cups. This card isn't about fleeting attraction or the quick thrill of a dating app notification. It's about recognition, soul recognition. It speaks to the kind of bond where you meet someone and feel, in your bones, that you've known them far longer than the calendar suggests. For some Sagittarians, this is a reunion, a story that was left unfinished but refuses to fade. Time and distance may have tried to play the role of villains, but the connection held strong, humming quietly in the background, waiting for the right alignment to bring it back to the surface. For others, this is the beginning of something entirely new, but it won't feel new at all. It will feel like stumbling into a home you never realized was yours. Now, allow me to add a layer of Buddhist insight here, because love without wisdom quickly turns into attachment. Even soul-level connections are not about possession. True non-attachment doesn't dilute love, it enriches it. It means you love so deeply, so profoundly, that you don't need to clip the other person's wings to prove their devotion. That is the essence of a Sagittarius heart. You crave freedom not just for yourself, but for those you love. And when you find the right partner, they won't fear your wildness. They'll admire it. They won't tether you to the ground, they'll fly alongside you. Think of it this way, love is not a cage, it is a horizon. And horizons are something Sagittarians have always been destined to chase. As if this journey were not already rich enough, the universe lays the Justice card on the table. Too many people misunderstand this card, imagining it as a finger wagging from above, a karmic punishment waiting to strike. In truth, justice is not about punishment, it's about balance. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every long night where you wondered if the universe had fallen asleep at the wheel, none of that went unnoticed. Every tear, every act of resilience, every time you chose integrity over shortcuts, it was all written in the great cosmic ledger. And now, the scales begin to tip in your favor. If you are reconnecting with someone from your past, their return doesn't happen because you begged the stars for it. It happens because the truth has ripened. They have seen what they lost, what they dismissed, and they are finally ready to honor it. For the single Sagittarius who has been wondering if love is simply an endless game of almosts, justice declares otherwise. You've cleared debts you didn't even realize you were carrying. You've done the grueling work of healing, letting go, and elevating yourself. The Year of Triumph 2025 does not hand out participation trophies. It rewards those who have wrestled with their shadows, embraced their scars, and chosen to rise anyway. From a psychological lens, justice is the loud, clear announcement that you're no longer signing up for half measures. Gone are the days of accepting almost relationships, almost jobs, or opportunities that promised security but demanded your soul in exchange. Justice says enough. You have matured into a place where compromise with your own truth is no longer possible. You're ready for love that is whole, opportunities that align with your passion, and communities that celebrate your authenticity rather than demand your silence. Together, these three cards, the Sun, the Two of Cups, and Justice, paint a powerful arc. First, your light is revealed and celebrated. Then, love finds you in ways that feel fated, not fabricated. And finally, balance is restored, debts cleared, and your future aligned with the dignity you've always deserved. Sagittarius, this is not a small chapter. This is a pivotal one. And if you find yourself smiling at the absurdity of it all, that's perfectly fitting. After all, laughter is your compass. And in this story, it points straight toward joy, connection, and cosmic fairness. At last, Sagittarius, the curtain falls on this chapter of your reading with the Three of Cups, and it does so in the most celebratory way imaginable. Picture it, music floating in the air, glasses clinking together, laughter spilling out like sunlight after weeks of rain. This card is less about the romance of two and more about the chorus of many. It speaks of community, of your soul family, the people who don't just laugh at your jokes but beat you to the punchline. For some, this card brings the promise of reunion, a long overdue gathering with friends who have drifted away but never disappeared from your heart. For others, it is the invitation to celebrate your own resilience, to toast the fact that you've walked through storms and come out not just dry but somehow dancing. And if I know Sagittarius, and after years of research and observation, I think I do, some of you are already pulling up playlists, planning menus, and texting everyone you know to meet you Friday night. That's fine, just remember, moderation has never been your strong suit, so hydrate between tequila shots. Joy is a gift, but so is waking up without a headache. But celebration without grounding is just noise, and the tarot is reminding you to anchor this energy in the practical world. That brings us to the subtle but profound link between money and the mind. Financial life, whether you like to admit it or not, is rarely about numbers on a screen. It's about the relationship you hold with yourself. The more you obsess over control, deadlines, or imaginary worst-case scenarios, the tighter you squeeze the very flow you're trying to attract. Abundance, contrary to popular belief, is not a game of force. It is a game of alignment. Sagittarius, money responds to joy, to lightness, to play. When you treat money like a friend, tracking it, appreciating it, respecting it but not chaining yourself to it in fear, you reopen the river. Find a number that excites you, not terrifies you. Write it down, imagine the adventures it might fund, picture yourself booking that spontaneous trip or starting that project that feels wild and thrilling. You were not meant to grind endlessly for pennies, you were meant to thrive in the freedom that wealth, rightly aligned, can provide. And of course, no reading would be complete without looking at relationships, that complicated playground where Sagittarius tends to oscillate between craving deep connection and bolting at the first sign of a leash. Right now, your love life requires two paradoxical but essential skills, mystery and honesty. Mystery is what keeps love alive, the reminder that even after years together, your partner remains a universe still unfolding before you. Honesty is the anchor, the grounding force of truth spoken with both kindness and clarity. Without mystery, love becomes stale, without honesty, it becomes hollow. If you are single, the message is especially clear: do not rush. Heal before leaping. The universe is not asking you to fill space with distraction but to prepare for resonance. And when resonance arrives, it won't feel like fireworks that fade too quickly, it will feel like recognition, like a flame that doesn't burn out. The eyes watching you now aren't just captivated by your smile or your charm, they're redrawn to the depth of your philosophy, to that Sagittarian fire that refuses to dim. Remember, the right connection won't demand you extinguish that flame. It will fan it. So here we stand, laughter, abundance, and love, each reframed not as fleeting gifts but as practices, as choices. The Three of Cups invites you to celebrate, the Ace of Pentacles taught you to plant, the Sun illuminated your gifts, and justice rebalanced your world. Sagittarius, you are not just surviving the story, you are becoming its author. And if you laugh at the absurdity of it all along the way, well, that's exactly how your soul knows you're on the right path. Sagittarius, let's talk about something most readings gloss over: the body. We live in an age where the soul is romanticized and the body is treated like an afterthought, but in truth, they are partners in crime. With all the cosmic shifts swirling around you lately, it's natural to feel drained. The headaches, the fatigue, the bizarre dreams that make you wake up wondering if you've been binge-watching strange indie films in your sleep, these aren't malfunctions. They're recalibrations. Your system is updating itself, patching bugs you didn't even know you had. The whisper is clear: slow down so I can catch up. But of course, Sagittarius isn't famous for slowing down. You're the Zodiac's road tripper, often treating your body like a rental car. Drive it fast, run it hard, maybe remember to throw in some gas when the warning light flashes. Yet this season asks for something different. It asks you to see your body not as a machine you can exploit, but as a temple you are privileged to inhabit. Temples require care, reverence, and repair. And if your soul is on pilgrimage, the temple must be strong enough to carry it across deserts and mountains alike. Eat a little lighter, hydrate like your cells are listening, and rest like the world won't end if you take a nap. Spoiler alert, it won't. Now let's move from the individual body to the collective body, your family. Energetically, things may feel heavy here. You may sense old expectations pressing down on you, like a backpack filled with ancestral bricks. Some of you have been carrying these bricks so long you forgot they weren't yours. The universe gives you permission to set that backpack down. You are not responsible for solving every family drama, every generational knot that no one else has untangled. Boundaries are not betrayals, they are acts of love, both for yourself and for those you care about. Even psychology backs this up. Healthy distance creates healthier connection. This is also the moment to examine the stories you've inherited around money, love, and success. Were you taught that freedom is instability, that love always requires sacrifice, or that joy must be earned through suffering? These scripts are not universal truths, they're family folklore. You are free to release what isn't yours and to write your own narrative. This is where Buddhist teaching on non-clinging becomes beautifully practical. Let go of beliefs that keep you small, that weigh you down, that are outdated hand-me-downs from ancestors who lived in a different world. You honor them not by repeating their fears but by living your truth more fully. And let's be honest, Sagittarius, sometimes family isn't the people who share your last name. Sometimes family is the group that makes you laugh until your ribs hurt, the ones who let you be your wild, unfiltered self without redlining your freedom. Your soul family is just as real, and often, just as essential. The Three of Cups already showed us the joy of community. Here, we see the deeper truth: your soul tribe is part of the architecture of your destiny. Which brings us to the conclusion of this reading, and it's a powerful one. The phone is ringing, Sagittarius, not in your pocket, but in your soul. This is not a telemarketer's call or a casual catch-up when you can. This is the moment the chosen ones are summoned to step forward. The Year of Triumph 2025 is not handing out trophies for simply showing up. It demands courage, authenticity, and a willingness to embody your truth. So, what do? You pick up the call. You plant the seed. You shine your light. You love deeply without clinging, celebrate without apology, and rest without guilt. Because at the end of the day, the universe can hand you the map, the bow, and the arrow, but only you can draw it back and let it fly. And if you're worried about missing the call, don't be. The universe has unlimited minutes. But here's the truth: you want to answer this one. Sagittarius, life isn't a rehearsal. It's the stage itself. Laugh when it gets absurd, pause when you need breath, love with both arms open, and keep your eyes on the horizon. Because joy, in your story, isn't just a reward, it's the way forward. And before you dash off chasing the next adventure, let me remind you of something simple. If this message resonated, if it made you pause, smile, or rethink, then share that spark. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to our channel, Zodiac Talks Tarot. This journey is just beginning, and trust me, you'll want to be here for the next chapter. After all, what's better than traveling the stars together?